Hi guys! Today's video is about Conjuration in Hunter x Hunter. If you like the video, don't forget to give it a like, and let's get started. If someone creates some kind of impurity in the water during the water divination test, this person is a conjurer. For those who don't know, this test is used to determine a person's Nen type by observing how their aura interacts with water. Conjuration is the Nen type that involves creating objects using aura, different from objects created by using transmutation. Conjured objects can be seen by non-Nen users, unless the conjurer specifically decides they don't want them to be visible. A thing about conjuration is how careful you have to be when thinking about what exactly you want to conjure, because it's really easy to mess up in this category. Someone without proper guidance might try to create a sword because it's pretty useful in combat, right? But that tends not to be a good idea if you're a beginner. First, if you want to conjure a sword, why not just carry a regular one? Because conjuring a sword takes a lot of aura, and that'll hurt your defense since the aura you spend on the sword could be used as a shield for your protection. You'd basically be cooked. Tagashi gave us a prime example of how not to use conjuration, and that example is Cheetu. It's a perfect illustration of this point. Cheetu is a chimera ant with vast amounts of aura. His main trait is that he's really fast. Way faster than most, because he's a cheetah makes sense, right? But what does he decide to conjure? A crossbow that shoots arrows slower than he can run. This is even worse than the sword example. Also, notice that conjuring an object isn't as simple as just wanting a sword and having it magically appear in your hand. Far from it. You must first understand everything about the object you want to conjure. For example, if it's a sword, you need to spend time studying swords, learning their design, understanding their materials, and familiarizing yourself with how they're made. Then, you have to consider every little detail about your summoned sword, its size, weight, color, and even how sharp the blade will be. It's a meticulous process requiring deep knowledge and visualization. That's the truth in most cases, and it's what Kurapika's teacher taught him. At least that's true in most cases. But then there's Kurapika and his ability, Gallery Fake, which allows him to conjure perfect replicas of objects regardless of their material or complexity. In his case, he doesn't need to study the materials or understand the structure. He just needs to touch the object with his left hand and create a replica with his right hand like magic. It shows how underrated Kurapika is as a conjurer. This is really hard to do. He can even track his summoned objects. Although it does have limitations. The conjured objects disappear after 24 hours. And he can't create a living copy of someone. If he tries to duplicate a human being, he'll only create a lifeless corpse. But anyway, he doesn't need to have a deep understanding of the thing he's duplicating, so it's a high-level Nen application for sure. Another cool Nen ability from the manga belongs to Yokotani, a dude from the Succession War arc. His ability, a Battle of Wits, LSDF, is extremely focused on defense, and comes with the condition that it can only be activated within the Hylia family secret hideout when Meruem, their leader, is present, and when the intruder has broken the law. These are some pretty rough conditions. I don't know if tying your ability to a specific location is a good idea. It's just too situational. And what if Meruem dies? What will he do? Well, I don't know. But this amount of conditions itself is capable of creating indestructible robots tasked with defending the Hylia family hideout. These robots are really indestructible. Not even Prime Netero or Meruem could destroy them. The problem is they cannot physically harm the target. The puppet's strength and aura increase in proportion to the severity of the intruder's crimes. The more egregious the offense, the stronger the puppets. Another good capability of conjuration is creating pocket dimensions. Only emission and conjuration have this capability. Cheetu's ability, Tag, is an example of its use. With this ability, Cheetu traps his opponent in a separate world where they are forced to play a game of tag with him. The only way for the opponent to escape is to comply with the game's rules and tag him within the time limit. As I already said, Cheetu is not a good Nen user, so he himself didn't know what would happen if his opponent didn't get him in time. But there was a lot of potential in it. Now talking about Kite and his ability, Crazy Slots. This ability allows him to conjure a variety of weapons, each tied to a roulette controlled by a clown-like Nen beast. This roulette, located on the clown's tongue, spins and lands on a random number between 1 and 9, each representing a specific weapon. Kite cannot choose the weapon himself, a restriction he imposed to enhance the power of each item. Once summoned, the weapon remains active until it is used. We don't know all of his available weapons, but we do know some. I'll give you guys some examples. The Scythe has the attack called Silent Waltz. When Kite activates this move, the blade enlarges, and he spins the scythe in a full circle, releasing a devastating invisible slash that cuts through everything in its radius. He demonstrated this against a group of chimera ants, slicing them all cleanly in half, along with the surrounding trees. The carbine resembles a carbine rifle and is capable of firing powerful bullets in rapid succession. Interestingly, the weapon operates almost silently, potentially due to a suppressor-like design at the front. But the thing I want to talk about is the existence of a specific weapon tied to a number that only appears in life-or-death situations. According to Ging, this weapon is so powerful that it enabled Kite to reincarnate as the Queen's daughter after his death. So, look at how far Conjuration can go with the right restrictions, because surely this special slot has some crazy restrictions to be drawn. So, that was it for today.